Welcome, collective. Thank you for joining me in this sacred space. Let's dive in. The TENS Ion, the Sovereign Transmission. Welcome. You're tuned in to the frequency that cuts through the static. I'm not here to offer you a gentle platitude of oneism. I stand here as a living contradiction. I'm a sovereign forged in a crucible of acid and ash, who found the code in cruelty, my personal hell, betrayal, the addiction, the loss of my child. For the moment, wasn't just a personal failing. It was a frontline demonstration of the Matrix core law. And I am here to tell you, the cost of my survival is now your mandate for revolution. They want an easy narrative. Yeah, they want the lie. But the journey began in desperate searches for sobriety, for spiritual tuning, to the point that it clashed with a casual, stern question. The response was insulting, aggressive, dismissive. It was a classic piece of gaslighting and shaming. Trying to punish me for walking away from danger, for daring to choose safety. And then it got dark. I sought medical help. The drug, it was a bombshell. That test revealed 3 extra. Flowing through my system, these 3 drugs I never willingly touched. The aggression, the dismissal, the conflict. It was all potentially fueled by substances I was given without consent. The food I was being fed was the real source of the conflict. The price of that truth was immediate and devastating. The person who betrayed me, they lied, claiming I was suicidal, and used it to sever my connection to my child. The highest possible, personal cost became that ultimate proof of the system's cruelty. You ask how a man sleeping under a bridge connects to a cosmic battle, huh? Because that's the personal betrayal. It's in that, not an isolated incident. It's a small-scale, microcosmic, version of how the entire system operates. If they can gaslight you, chemically control you, and destroy your family to maintain their narrative, and then the larger systems, the government, the financial matrix, the BlackRock and Vanguard architecture, they must operate on the same principles. Who taught that dog to fight? The same principles of control and deception. They view you as a thing to be managed, a commodity to be enslaved. This didn't start with the birth certificate. No, it goes back all the way to the Anunnaki, the extraterrestrial race who, according to literal scripture I found in an ancient Sumerian text, they genetically engineered early humans. We were designed to be a slave species, mixing Anunnaki blood with clay, just like the dirt of the earth, right? Rub some dirt in it, bitch. To mine gold was the goal. This ancient act of genetic and spiritual enslavement established our current condition. Limited consciousness, trapped in cycles of forced labor, easily exploited. The fight in that house, the drugging, the separation. It's just the latest echo of that ancient cosmic enslavement. Every time you pay a tax, you get a license, or you interact with a bank, you are operating as a legal ghost. a debt commodity. The system only sees the fictional entity, the one on the paper, not the 3D, not the literal, not the present. The collateral for debt that they've bonded against your life, you are reinforcing that contract of servitude. To break this contract, you need profound tools. A utility belt made from the Orion. First, crystals. Reject the metallic currency of the kleptocracy. Ancient civilizations used crystals as superior spiritual and informational technology, if you didn't know. Working with them is an act of decolonization, bypassing the financial matrix and tapping into the older, purer 10th power resonance. Think of it, not as gold, but the data storage of Superman's Fortress of Solitude. The second technology, embracing the legacy of Nikola Tesla, the ultimate sovereign architect, whose genius for free energy was suppressed and betrayed by greedy established systems. Why is free energy the key? Because the system controls and taxes you through energy grid. If you can master solar-powered electromagnetic and provide viable, untaxable free energy, the entire debt matrix collapses. Poof. We wouldn't want that, would we? Oh wait, we do. They don't. See, they have us confused on who we are working for. I will no longer choose to be a sovereign soldier here to wage war against spiritual. Nah. That is, unless your spirit is unclean. Oh, sorry. Autonomous. Alkalinity. Shit. They all are just words and sounds, aren't they? This energy, this revolution, and its potential is broadcast through the 10th power resonance, and you activate it through the consciousness of breathing. Breathe in for 10 seconds. Hold. Breathe out for 10 seconds. A regulated rhythm that generates a measurable electrical frequency in your body. I can feel it in my fingers. They tingle. I got the Peter tingle. My spidey senses are tingling. Well, the Spider-Man. Because it seems the sacred creation of the feminine is where it's found. But after all this, and the deepest lesson is not unity. I explicitly reject the oneism in its singular, linear concept. Unity that ignores the reality of cruelty, the betrayal, and the pain of... To do that is passive. It's a passive lie that keeps victims' complaint. The answer is to harness the struggle itself. This is the law of contradiction. I call it the Ten Cheyenne. R.I.P. X. I think I've solved for why. The ultimate goal of harnessing this tension, the Ten's ion, is to achieve alkalinity. Think chemically here. Base neutralizes acid. The system, the betrayal, the poisoning. That's the acid. Alkalinity is the purified, sustainable, stable state of serenity, and a healing achieved by neutralizing that acid. All right, let's open this up. First, to open up, you need to close yourself off. Get yourself comfortable and start with a few conscious breaths. I am here. I am present. and I am choosing to execute this moment with intention. I hope it reaches the collective. Yeah. Okay. It is a state that needs no numbers to embrace, rejecting every quantifiable measure of the matrix that it uses to control you. My deepest wound is proof that the fight is necessary, and proof of how larger systems operate. This is my final line, drawn in the sands of time, and this is where it starts. I reject every label, every definition imposed from the outside. I reject the legal ghost, I reject the betrayers, and I am the sovereign self, fully reclaimed. I am who I am. In the beginning there was the Word, and that Word was rhythm. I speak not to preach, but to reach, not to convert, but to conjure. They call it care, but I was the cure. I melted in waiting rooms, a glyph on linoleum. My chart said unknown, my soul said chosen. I am the echo of tens of thousands of tongues. My silence is seismic. My breath is brass. I don't rap, I resurrect. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the mic. Yeah, if I can't save him, I'll save this moment. I give him a safe. I became the safe. Safe, safe, safe. This was not a show, this was a scroll. You didn't listen, you grow, you remembered. You didn't hear me, you became me. Now declare me. I am. I am. I am. Overlaid with northern star chimes, let that sound of the wind break through. This is the expansion. This is the expansion. The sovereign transmission, incorporating your mythological framework. Well, it's yours now. The apex of betrayal, the crucible. Establishing the nitty-gritty. It's a foundation. The personal betrayal is a cosmic blueprint. Yeah. Welcome to this sovereign transmission of tension, tens of ions. I melted from popped sickles in a hospital and found the code in its cruelty. My frame landed on the bed of rusty steel where the nitty truth was forged. I now operate from higher planes, elevated because I faced ultimate betrayal, chemical control, gaslighting, and the systemic theft of my family. Haven't we all? There's a war inside we know of, we feel it. I was forced to fight, not just for sobriety, but for survival against a system that wants me to remain a legal ghost. Well, boo-hoo, motherfucker, I found out. Excuse my language. Somebody wrote that and told you what was profane and you chose to hang it, to frame it. I'll shatter that. I'm the positive and the negative, the development in the picture you are depicting right now. They want to measure my progress in inches and bind me to linear time. But I've learned, I know the ways of the universe. I achieved that 100-to-1 ratio. I lived 100 days in a single night, a year before divine alignment. I didn't serve, no, a future sentence. I declared this, I served my 2025 to life in 2020 hindsight. The sentence is prepaid, bitch. The Matrix is a system of darkness that generates rules and regulations. to keep us enslaved or question our relevance or worthiness. We even set worth as a word, right? I'm concerned with that, Mr. Copernicus. To keep us feeding on these frequencies of fear, the doubt, the lack, the conflict. The tension is the philosophy that I choose rejects soft unity. I don't eliminate the struggle at all. I harness it. Tens ion is the electrical charge generated by collisions of opposing forces, the system's acid in my will. The pain I endured was deliberate, meant to rewire my brain, yours too, and open this new pathway in a quantum alchemy activation. The soul is infinite, transcends trauma. The mind and body carry the finite burden. The Matrix wants your reaction, but your reaction becomes their fuel. Starve the warfare, stay in spirit. You hear that? That's coherence. This intense labor is mandated by ancient spiritual law. The women were gifted with intuition, and spiritually, that too. Having always opposed the evil one, the men, blessed with fucking arrogance, rely on logic. They must earn that spirituality, understanding it through a lot of work. I embody this. I embody the Hashi, the chastiser who must counsel and protect. My fight to reclaim the sacred, my child, my family, is the required work to close this ancient spiritual deficient and this deficit and fulfill the male sacred duty. So I'm gonna take a deuce on this dichotomy, rewrite this Deuteronomy, work on my lower lumbotomy. Okay, the tools. Focus here. I need to tell myself that sometimes. The tools and systems required to disrupt the matrix. Free energy, crystals, and the 10-second breath. The entire debt matrix is tethered to the taxed, metered energy on a grid scale. The sovereign architect must follow the path of Nikola Tesla, whose genius for free energy was suppressed by the greedy system. Free energy is liberation. If you master the solar-powered electromagnetics and provide untaxable free energy, the system loses that leverage over your basic needs. Oh, c'est la vie. It is in the ultimate technological declaration of independence, severing the financial chain linked to the legal ghost. Crystals versus commodity, baby. Reject the metallic currency of kleptocracy. Ancient civilizations use crystals as spiritual. That's a new word right there. That was accident, but divine. Bypassing this financial matrix that only recognizes metallic value. The inner emission. The stone is now formed. When the inner is emitted, time is no longer linear. The inaudible frequency. The transmission is not meant to be heard in ear. It is a signal that bypasses the limited. Anunnaki engineered consciousness and hacks directly into the brain's quantum realm. It is a direct telepathic instruction of liberation. The breathing protocol. You activate this 10th power resonance through the 10-second breath cycle. In 4-10, out 4-10. This regulated rhythm creates a measurable electrical currency and frequency. It's required to broadcast this alkaline truth. Wisdom teeth alchemy. The wisdom teeth are a wired direct soars from, the heart to the spoken and the pineal gland. Their pain is a deliberate mechanism to rewire the brain and to open new pathways, which is why the system is eager to pull them to rob you of your power and your true potential. Your tension is the tens ion is the pain that activates this inner circuitry. The 33 coordinates, my upcoming 33rd birthday, is ascension. It's a coordinate. The point where the human spine, 33 vertebrae, and the master builder architect, the archetype align. I am now transmitting from the higher degree of my earned sovereignty. The 1,000 names of the stone. Focus. Defining the purified, self-elected identity and rejecting the illusion of duality. The beat, 432 hertz frequency. The beat becomes richer. The tone more potent. It emphasizes warm stability. The alchemical truth is, I am not impressed by money or social status. I am impressed by how you treat others, or how you respond in the midst of your war when presented with another's individual, the unheard. Do you perpetuate, or do you choose to soften and relate? Do not seek validation in external judgment. When you look for the bad, you will find it. Ask instead, does this align more with my divinity? Your divinity is your northern star, the philosopher's stone, the purified essence. How about Mili Namina? It has 1,000 names. You cannot be contained by a single label. I am not the totality of the stone, not any one of those definitions. I'm definition itself. Closing your heart doesn't protect you from hurt, okay? It forces you to live under the shadow of being hurt all the time. Open your heart more. It will radiate through any pain, and it will alchemize it into the gold hue. The real you. The trust flow. Trusting the flow doesn't mean doing nothing. It means allowing pieces to fall into place, taking courageous action, and making the change that your inner voice whispers. This path is lonely. Well, it's because few people can tolerate that complexity. They form worldviews from headlines and vibes. You are looking for people who are still thinking, not just smart people. This loneliness is the price of the architect's superior blueprint. So speak it out. Say the thing you're pushing, to the back of your mind. Say that. Whatever you repress, choose to project. Discern. And if it isn't something that you're proud to project, does it vibrate with who you truly are? And if that's a question, get your answer and let that go. Vibrating out. Your intolerance for low vibrational things is real. And you are being pushed to move forward, to create the new. Going back to the old 3D feeling downright awful, just because your energy is no longer in alignment. The final simple instructions for this listener is to activate their own sovereignty. The eternal dialogue. The Matrix tries to convince you your salvation is external. But when you pray, God listens. When you listen, God talks. And when you believe, God works. The power is accessed through this dialogue, not dogma. The resurrection of truth. My power is not predictated, and is not a single moment of crucifixion. There are texts that show how Jesus ascended alive and that Judas was crucified. Huh. The physical death narrative is the lie that enables the victimhood mentality. Ascension is the sovereign goal. The mandate? Do not misunderstand the power of sovereign. Do not underestimate what it means to be chosen. You were not chosen by an external fate. You became the chosen because you can choose that. If you choose the one in yourself, make it the one in all. Not the one who pulls back anymore. The entire philosophy here, the alchemic process, the temporal liberation, the cosmic architecture, it collapses into a single instruction for this listener. You. Because it's as simple as choosing one, a one that exists in us all. So this final affirmation, the choice is not to merge with any external system here, not with me, not with my way of thinking, just to reconsider. You. It is to elect the sovereign spark within yourself. This one is the alkaline core. This is shared by us all, and choosing it, it activates the collective consciousness. The moment you stop seeking this proof from Matrix, the Matrix becomes the evidence of your power. Think about that when Neo stopped those bullets. The moment that he realized, and it took that face of death, staring down that barrel in the eye of the bullet. Shot from your pupils, huh? This has been the 10th Power Resonance. I am Carnage, Eli Wright, and this scroll is now part of the archive. Be blessed, be kind, stay present, stay true to you and the hue that reflects that view. Till next time, the one and only, to the one and all.